Wanna watch my funny video? Okay, das ist jemand, der mit Paint erklärt, was One-Night-Stands sind.
So, one-night stands are essentially when you hook up with someone and never see them again, or at least never sleep with them again. And at one point I remember thinking, wow, that sounds so shallow and meaningless. It's just two people giving into raw sexual attraction.
Bro, ich hatte in meinem Leben, glaube ich, ein One-Night-Stand. Und das war jetzt nicht so geil.
No chemistry or romance whatsoever. And someone...
Weird Flex, ja, holy shit. Richtig weirder Flex. Das Ding ist halt, ich finde halt, dass wenn das halt nur so was Einmaliges ist oder zweimalig, dann finde ich irgendwie, ist es trotzdem wichtig, dass man so vorher irgendwie eine Connection hat. Ich finde es irgendwie mega weird, wenn man dann einfach sich trifft. Also ich könnte mir zum Beispiel nicht vorstellen, einfach in einem Club eine Alte mitzunehmen, nach Hause zu nehmen und wegzuknüppeln. Gut, kommt drauf an, aber an sich denke ich eher nicht.
Feelings, but they had a point, and I think that if two people want to hook up and are responsible about it, it could be a good experience for both of them. So, first things first, you should be prepared at all times, but if you're like me and all your condoms are expired...
Wieso, du lernst die ja im Club schon kennen, Zwinker-Smiley. Digga, du heißt Onkel Mike. Klingt so, als würdest du so wie Johnny Sins aussehen und immer so oberkörperfrei im Matrix tanzen. Digga. Ah, scheiße. Na, Bro, keine Ahnung. Ich habe ein Girl im Club kennengelernt damals, vor 5 Jahren. Nö, da war es einfach so, da haben wir so kurz zusammen getanzt, also jetzt nicht so auf ekelhaft, nicht so auf Ui, Digga, ui, und sie dann irgendwie so sondern so normal halt in einem Kreis, so, okay. Ja, und da habe ich sie einfach nach ihrer Nummer gefragt und dann halt irgendwie geschrieben den Tag da drauf. Aber ich glaube, ich könnte mir nicht vorstellen, so eine mitzunehmen im Club einfach. Finde ich irgendwie weird. Im Kreis getanzt? Mann, Digga, keine Ahnung. Ja, also halt, ja, Digga, lass es ein Viereck gewesen sein. Ist es jetzt wichtig, welche Form wir getanzt haben? Digga, vielleicht war es auch ein Oktaeder. Not sure.
Hard to decide if it's worth preemptively investing. In my opinion, you should always have at least a couple on your bedside table to keep the hope alive. And on the flip side, if you're a guy who gets around, don't try to save money or cut corners. I've heard some pretty ridiculous stories, and my friend told me that she heard of a guy who washed out a condom to reuse. That's being really stupid. Just turn it inside out. So once you're well stocked on the necessary prerequisites, of course you find someone else to help you make progress. So if you're meeting someone in a bar, on Tinder, or through your contact list, you have to be good at managing expectations. Even if both people...
Warte mal, was ist das für ein Bitly-Link da?
Temperature.
Einfach ein anderes Video von ihm. King.
Or through your contact list, you have to be good at managing expectations. Even if both people agree they're just hooking up and you're on the same page. You won't be the next morning, so I like to be as transparent as possible. If she says, I don't really do this kind of thing that often, what should I expect? I'd just be honest and say, it's about like a Coke can, but a bit shorter. You're hooking up with someone and there's a mutual understanding that you're probably not going to see each other again. Don't be afraid to try some new techniques. As an example, the other day a girl was telling me about her sexual escapades and said I should try using coconut oil if I get the opportunity. I haven't had the opportunity. One of my hands is now incredibly soft. So the act of sex itself is a very beautiful thing. Not literally, it's really gross, but the concept is there. I don't have any tips because I know my lane, but I like to think of sex like the opposite of homework. Because with homework, I've always thought, I'm not looking forward to this. It's going to be really hard the whole time, and I'm going to take forever to finish. At least I'll be glad I did it. So when you wake up the next morning, the first thing you have to think about is the repercussions of what you just did. Your friends find out about it, you have to be ready for what they might say. So if you're a girl, you'll probably be hearing a lot of, Amanda, what were you thinking? And if you're a guy, you'll probably be hearing a lot of, dude, nice. In addition, you might wake up thinking,
so true.
God, I thought we were just hooking up, but what's this weird feeling I have? Maybe I've caught feelings. It's probably just chlamydia, so play it cool. After mentally processing that, it's time to check on the other person in your bed. And this is a major turning point because if either of you had a good time, it's easy to get attached. So when you roll over and look, you'll see one of 3 scenarios. They're there, they're not there, or they were never there. So plan ahead for each situation, whether you'll be trying to avoid their calls, trying to call them, or just doing laundry and repainting the ceiling.
Oh mein Gott, die Videos sind ja ultra sick. Ich will noch eins davon gucken. Casually explain flirting.
Flirting is really important because it's about expressing your interest in someone you like in a non-threatening and fun way. I think it's easy to think that flirting is how you interact with someone in a conversation.
Bin auf meinem Windows
Starts from the very first
98 Rechner.
impression that you make on the other person. Trouble is that for a lot of people, flirting isn't something that comes naturally. If I go to a bar and see a person I really like and want to introduce myself to them,
He's hot.
my brain says, all right, good handshake, remember their name, remember your name, pick two. And when things go south and I get up from the bar stool to leave and hit my erection on the countertop, I get a little bit demotivated. But really, it's important to keep in mind that no one can be a smooth operator from the get-go. It definitely takes some practice. So, assuming you do manage to get through your introduction, it's a good idea to establish some kind of physical rapport. And a good way to do this is to touch the other person on the elbow when you say something they find clever or funny. In other words, you don't need to worry about it. Now, it's pretty easy to think, I really like this girl, but I don't know what I should do. And a really good idea is to practice your empathy by imagining you're the girl and thinking about what
Ich kann kein Englisch, W.
Even when you're talking about something like sex, one thing I've heard a lot from girls is, yeah, this guy was great, but he just finished and then fell asleep and didn't even think about how I felt. So the lesson I've learned there is if you want to be better at pleasing a woman, you really need to think about what it's like to be fucked by a dude. What's good about this is that, because it's a thought experiment, you can do it whenever you have a free moment, whether you're on the bus, or at the gym, or just bent over the kitchen counter. So, a big part of flirting is teasing, and this is essentially making small playful jabs at the other person that get a positive reaction and elevate the mood. Imagine a girl said to me, so your last video had a good amount of views, still staying up all night refreshing the page? That would not be very good teasing because I'd be really worried about how she found out. But if she said, damn, have you been working out? You're really starting to fill up that extra small shirt. That'd be good teasing because it's been my goal for a while. Now, the way that guys and girls express their interest is very different. And generally the way that most girls will flirt with a guy is by laughing a lot and touching him on the arm. But this is also how a lot of girls act platonically friendly, and there's not really any way to know which...
Oder wenn sie über alle deine Jokes lacht, dann bist du sowas von in, holy shit.
She tells you 3 years later when she already has a boyfriend. On the flip side, guys tend to flirt with a lot less nuance and generally prefer to set up a situation where they either get a definite yes or no. There's a few ways you can do this. You can explicitly ask them on
Jemand schreibt Fingern, Diggi. Was?
the date, go for a kiss, straight up ask them how they feel about you, or just send a dick pic. Different guys have different styles, so do what feels right for you. I like to send them at breakfast. That way they have the whole day to respond. Usually go for natural window lighting and use the macro setting, obviously. All in all, I think everyone should put in an effort to improve their ability to communicate honestly with someone they're interested in. If anything, it's
aber no joke, so ein bisschen touchy zu sein, wenn man sich besser kennenlernt. Also wenn man jetzt nicht beim ersten so vielleicht, aber wenn man so irgendwas zusammen unternimmt, Digga, ist easy fucking clap dann. Digga, einfach eintüten die alte Junge. So Team Rocket mäßig, als sie Pikachu klauen wollten. Einfach in so einen Sack, Digga, und mitnehmen die Sau.
Worth making the effort, so if you do meet that perfect person for you, you don't miss a golden opportunity because of a lack of confidence. Just remember, I like to always think, even if I screw up...
People geh in einen Sack. Nein, so mit Bros. Oh, Chad, Jesus Christ. Es war eine Metapher, Chad. Ich will noch eins gucken.
Now, there are plenty of ways you can get inspired to cook. Whether it be you're looking to impress a girl, you're looking to impress a guy.
Passt ja heute, ja, true.
Or your mom's out, and this was the first search result. Nevertheless, the first step of your cooking journey is always the same. Watching Gordon Ramsay make a beef Wellington, and then going online and finding a recipe well beyond your skill level. Now, after you've learned your lesson the hard way, it's time to pick something more manageable.
So
a lot
true.
of people get stressed out trying to read a recipe, but it should be pretty easy if you take it one step at a time. In general, I find the only part of a recipe that's hard to follow is the part where it says serves too. Nevertheless, whenever you're cooking something, the first thing you have to do is buy your ingredients, bring them home, set them on the countertop, and organize them before you start cooking. This step is called mise en place, which is French for forgetting half the shit you need. In this situation, I like to make an adaptation to the recipe by taking a look at all the ingredients I don't have, seeing exactly where the author uses them in the recipe.
Bro, kennt ihr den Moment, wenn ihr so mehr als eine Sache kocht und ihr habt mehr als ein Rezept quasi? Und ihr struggelt ja die ganze Zeit, weil ihr immer so im Supermarkt so hin und her switcht, weil dann so, okay, ich brauche Kartoffeln. Okay, ja, jetzt brauche ich Sahne. Dann geht ihr so von den Kartoffeln zur Sahne, dann seht ihr aber bei dem anderen Ding, dass ihr Paprika braucht und ihr geht wieder zurück. No, I don't think so. Chad, ich hab vergessen, dass ihr alle 12 seid und euch von eurer Mom bekochen lässt. Scheiße, ich hab mich versprochen.
And then I crossed them out. Now, when you're cutting your ingredients, having a sharp knife is very important because it lets you cut things
Ja, ich bestell, Chat. Okay,
scheiße. Confidence. To keep your knife sharp, make sure you run the knife up and down a honing rod every time before you cook. This won't do anything on account of your poor technique, but it does make it.
Chat, ich weiß, mein Titel von meinem Stream ist gerade, dass die Lieferdienste heute zu haben und ich verhungern muss heute. Und es sieht so aus, als könnte ich nicht kochen. Aber so ist es nicht, ich kann kochen, okay? Shut up.
Sound. Furthermore, if you do have a date, nothing turns a woman on more than being alone in a room with a man sharpening a 10-inch kitchen knife. So now that all your ingredients are chopped and neatly placed in bowls around your
Dangerous and ASMR.
Cool sound. Furthermore, if you do have a date, nothing turns a woman on more than being alone in a room with a man sharpening a 10-inch kitchen knife. So now that all your ingredients are chopped and neatly placed in bowls around your cutting board, make sure you take a quick picture for Instagram so your friends think your life is going better than it actually is. Now, every dish is cooked differently, so make sure you cover the smoke detector with saran wrap and follow the recipe closely. While I'm waiting for thermal radiation to do its work, I like to reward my hard work by ignoring the mess I've made and having a glass of wine. In the restaurant industry, this is called a coping mechanism, and all professional chefs do this after their shift. The final part of cooking your meal is plating, which is how your dish will be presented. And this is pretty straightforward. Amateurs put each ingredient beside each other with the sauce on top, but professionals put each ingredient on top of each other with the sauce on the side. So once you put your chicken tenders on top of the fries, it's time to reflect on everything you did wrong. Maybe you substituted flour for cornstarch, got Celsius and Fahrenheit confused on your oven, eyeballed every measurement, literally only had half the ingredients. Or maybe your meat was dry because you got hungry and ate the butter instead of putting it in the pan. Whatever you did wrong, don't feel bad about it. Just write it down, click 1 star, and hit submit review. Once you finish your meal and prolong starvation for another day, what are the next steps, you might ask? Well, if you're really looking to become a cooking enthusiast and take things to the next level, it's pretty straightforward. Learn the proper way to dice an onion with both horizontal and vertical cuts. This won't improve the taste of your food, but it will.
Bro, wir haben letztens ein Video geguckt, wie man eine Zwiebel schneidet. Ich habe keinen Plan, ich check's nicht. Ich schneide einfach irgendwie, ich halte das immer so zusammen, dann schneide ich irgendwie, dann merke ich, dass die Stücke alle zu groß sind und dann mache ich sowas mit dem Messer.
Allow you to tell everyone else they're wrong. Purchase a $300 Japanese knife. These knives are designed specifically for cutting soft-boiled eggs and green onions to spice up your microwave ramen, but are also the perfect tool for cutting root vegetables on your glass cutting board. Purchase a cast-iron skillet. While many think that this is just an 8-pound frying pan made of solid iron, that would be absolute sacrilege, as a true enthusiast knows that cast iron is not a raw industrial, but a misunderstood relic of the past to be worshipped and sensually oiled. Only reaching a climax when your wife gives you the ultimatum that it's her or the pan gets the dishwasher cycle. Purchase an immersion circulator that you call a sous vide and then use it exactly one time.
Sous vide ist ultra geil.
Run out of money. That's pretty much it. Now it's recipe books for Christmas and forearm tattoos until the day you die. At this point, there's probably only one question on your mind. Should I go pro? And while there's not a lot of competition right now, keep in mind that professional chefs have the challenge of working with some of the most insufferable people on the planet. Customers. In addition, you might think, oh, if I'm a professional chef, all the food I make for myself would be delicious. Nope, frozen pizza and Jack Daniels. Nevertheless, I don't want to discourage anyone, and it all depends on what you really want from life. For example, if you want to be a pro athlete, your goal is to win a gold medal at the Olympics. If you want to be a pro artist, you hope one day your work hangs in the Louvre. But if you want to be a pro chef, you have to have the dream that one day, however unlikely, a French tire company will finally rate your restaurant 3 stars. Now, if you're looking for a VPN that's consistently rated 5 Michelin stars by all major tech review platforms, ExpressVPN is the one to go for.
Bro, die Videos waren fun, dudes. Wenn es euch gefallen hat, lasst einen Daumen nach oben da, abonniert den Kanal und wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal, wenn es wieder heißt, aktiv, Digga.